Long before the madness of this recent pandemic started, I commenced the Fen Edge Trail. Since then, let's just say I've taken a gap year and concentrated on the local area. I started to learn a little bit about Fenland geology walking the Fen Edge, and one thing I quickly learned was that many of our local churches were built in some manner with Barnick stone, or Barnick rag as it was known. Every story has to have a beginning, a middle and an end. For this tale, it has to be Barnick Hills and Holes Nature Reserve. The Hills and Holes marks the site of a medieval quarry. The unique landscape was created by quarrying for limestone and was first exploited by the Romans over 1,500 years ago. Blocks of stone were transported on sleds to the River Welland and loaded onto barges which travelled down the River Nene and other Fenland waterways. Having walked at Holme Fen many times in the past, I was aware that located at Engine Farm there are 4 blocks of Barnick stone, presumably on their way to Ramsey Abbey from the quarries in Barnick, when the barge they are on overturned. 17 in total were found. John Bodgers famously drew a map of the mere fisheries in 1786, which illustrated the rivers to which each had communication from their spring heads to their influx into the sea. If we jump over to Farset Manor Farm trig point, we can have a look down onto the area where the mere once flowed. On a clear day you can see far and wide across the fens, from Yaxley Church, the wind farm out towards Glassmore, and to the church spires, chimneys and cranes in Whittlesea. It was thought that Whittlesea Mere formed about 500 BC when the silt was deposited by the rivers Nene and Welland and water backed up because it couldn't flow freely towards the Wash. By the medieval period, Whittlesea Mere had become a major fishery, primarily controlled by the nearby religious houses of Peterborough, Thorney, Ramsey, Saltrey, and through state ownership by Ely. The mere was at one point 6 miles across, the largest lake in lowland England, but only from 2 to 7 feet deep, rich in water birds and fishes that enabled the local people to make a living. The beauty of this story is although the mere is no more and its raised bog will never return, with the Great Fen project we will always be reminded by the echo of its glorious past, and with the blooming bittern and lapwing heard more often as the new meres and rebeds get established. The draining of the mere not only destroyed a way of life, insects like the Whittlesea satin moth and the large copper butterfly were lost forever. When the mere was drained, many looked back with regret, for their enjoyment had been lost. As E.W. Cook wrote in 1875, Whittlesea Mere was a scene of interest to the visitor, both to the painter, sportsman and naturalist. One looks in vain for that broad expanse of water, reflecting the grey passing clouds, and margined with vast masses of reed and sedge. How fine were those bright, brad-leaved and cup-like flowers through which we poled our little punt. The towers of the cathedral, the neighbouring spires, and the numerous and highly picturesque water-mills we now seek in vain, but which are never forgotten. Ramsey Abbey incense boat and censer. These were discovered in 1850, embedded in the mud together with some pewter and pottery when the mere was drained. No other silver incense boats survive from Gothic England, and only one other English Gothic censer made from gilt copper alloy is known. Then there's this sword dating from 1250 to 1300 that was also found when the mere was drained, as was this early Bronze Age flanged axe head that can be seen in Peterborough Museum. Now standing in the northern loop, we can see Yaxley Church, Barset Manor Farm trig point, the chimneys at Whittlesea, and the wind turbines far in the distance in the middle level glass moor area. Standing here on this bridge, we're now looking back towards Engine Farm, having completed the northern section. If you notice the elevation, it actually touches minus 17 feet by the railway convent. And we can't forget the local legends, like Lord Orford's voyage around the Fens in 1774. It's one of the most extraordinary, bizarre events in the history of Huntingdonshire and the wider Fens. From July the 16th of that year to August the 6th, the Right Honourable Coddiwomple, 3rd Earl of Orford, led an armada of converted river barges called the Fenland lighters on an extended pleasure cruise through the narrow seas of Cambridgeshire, Lincolnshire, Northamptonshire, Huntingdonshire and Norfolk. I've included a link in the description if you want to read further. Another local legend, first encountered in the Leisure Hour 1887 by a writer who claimed to have heard the story of a cottager's son from home, who while employed bird scaring on Holme Fen one Sunday in February 1851, wandered from his post and sank up to his armpits in the reeds and beds. Obscured from view, he remained stuck for 19 hours, from which he ascertained from the sound of the bells of All Saints Church, Conington, until a fellow villager found him by chance and returned him to his parents. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this little tale, so thanks for watching and listening. Take care. If you've liked it, please press subscribe, like, share, comment, feel free. Whatever you do, take care and thanks.